Time to rock. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon to everyone who's watching from all over the world. Yeah, I'm alone right now. Yeah, I know. I know it. No, AP's plane was delayed, and so he's not back in time to be live. So, I thought maybe we'd wait till tomorrow to cover this, but we're live on IP's channel tomorrow doing some debate reviews for all the debates we just did. Hey, it's actually a pretty interesting day of debates. Me, AP, and IP, and Robert Spencer all debated on the same day. Then there was Andrew Wilson and a couple other people. But anyway. Whoa, hang on. Look at this. Timothy just said, I'm from South Africa, and this is news to me. So this is interesting. So, yeah, the news broke today that the world's first openly gay imam was murdered. So wanted to cover this story. Again, AP traveling. Thought about covering this tomorrow, but we'll be live doing debate reviews tomorrow. And then... so I figured maybe we'll talk about it later in the week, and then realizing, have you guys noticed that there are like terror attacks every single day now in some European country? Point is, I'm assuming that if I waited until later this week, there's going to be a bunch of other terror attacks in various places. And so that's what jihad is. You just, you can never keep up. You can never keep up with the jihad. Weird, because Islam's a religion of peace and tolerance. So anyway, decided to go ahead and go live, cover this. We'll watch a clip. We'll watch a clip from Muhsin Hendricks, who is the world's first openly gay imam. Notice no one ever says the world's first gay imam. There have been countless thousands of gay imams, but openly gay. You know, you had to keep that a secret, whatever you were doing with, your Quran students and stuff like that. You had to keep it a secret, and so on. But now we have the world's first openly gay imam, and was the hero of people around the world. The hero of the LGBTQ community around the world. He was the one. He was the example. We were told, you see, Islam can allow things they disagree with without killing them because we've got an openly gay imam. And this was supposedly the evidence that Islam is just fine. Islam is just fine. Then Islam is going to adapt to the world and so on. And now he's been executed. Now he was publicly murdered. I'm not going to show the footage. There's footage. I posted it on Twitter of him being killed. It's not graphic. It shows someone shooting at the car. But, you're not seeing any blood or guts. But if I were to show that, this live stream would be instantly age restricted, and you couldn't watch it without logging in and so on. So anyway, we won't show that actual footage. You can check that out if you want to see it on my Twitter page. We'll look at a short video by Muhsin Hendricks, just so you can get an idea of who he is. Then we'll go through a BBC article talking about the ambush and his murder. And maybe, just maybe, we'll wonder why Islam is like this, given what the Muslim sources say about Muhammad being obviously gay. So we might have to, we might check some of that out. But I got the sources, because we just debated this stuff. A lot of this stuff was relevant just yesterday when I was debating Robert Spencer. So that's what we'll do, and then we'll be out. Let me take these first couple super chats, then we'll go and watch a video. I loved the debate. You were informative and hilarious. Islam exposed. Yeah, that was a fun debate. I said at the end of the debate we should do it every single day. I love the idea of a debate where one person is blasting away at what the Muslim sources claim about Muhammad. And so one person is blasting away at Muhammad and how messed up he is in the Muslim sources. And the other person is attacking those very sources and saying that Islam doesn't have any reliable sources. And so you can't trust anything any of the sources say about Islam. I just love the idea of whoever wins, Islam loses. Love that idea. We should do that debate every week for the next 20 years. That would be fun. Shake What Your Mama Gave You says, Dr. Dizzle, thanks a ton for all you do. I've started seeking out Muslims to talk with online. The Islamic dilemma works like a charm. Yeah, and we've been planning this for a while. I actually contacted some fellow apologists who deal with Islam last year about really fleshing out the argument, preparing responses to all possible objections, and so on. I mentioned this last year, but the idea was 2025. We want to dial it up. And so the plan was we're going to have like a sort of private group, and we were going to systematically go through the entire Quran, finding every single verse that is in any way connected to the previous scriptures, and putting together like a total comprehensive case and making videos about all of this as we're going along. In other words, the plan would be, there's nothing really important in Surah 1. It's short. But Surah 2 has a bunch of stuff in it. So the idea would be all of us as a group read through all of Surah 2, and then we figure out who's going to make videos on which parts and so on. And then by the end of that, we've covered all of Surah 2 in multiple videos and so on, gone through every single point, every possible objection and so on. Then go on to Surah 3, keep doing that until we've gone over the course of, I don't know how long it would take, several months at least, but I'm guessing probably like 6 or 8 months. Systematically go through the entire Quran and then start putting together things like everything the Quran says about the previous scriptures and so on, responses to objections, and put everything in video format and article format and make it available to everyone because, guys, there are Muslim objections. When you bring up the Islamic dilemma, there are objections they raise. There are verses they use. None of it actually works. It's all a smokescreen. So we basically want to make everything available to people so that the smokescreen doesn't work anymore. And then it's just done. It's a matter of Christians learning it. To be fair, the argument we've pointed out before, the argument works just as well for atheists. An atheist doesn't believe in the Quran or the Bible, but the argument works just as well for an atheist, a Hindu, a Buddhist, whoever, to say, hey, I don't even believe in any of the scriptures, but your scriptures affirm their scriptures and your scriptures contradict their scriptures on basic doctrines, and therefore your scriptures self-destruct and so on. So anyone could use that argument, and we want to put it in the hands of everyone. So, we're gonna have to get to that here in the very near future. Nice meeting you at DebateCon 5. I was the black kid with glasses at the dinner. Oh, cool. Yeah, that was cool. A lot of people. This was the biggest DebateCon so far. Lots of people there. Got to have dinner and talk to a bunch of people. So, yep, that was really cool. James is doing a lot of work. He's really just the video quality and everything. He's dialing it up. So, hats off to that. And I think the next DebateCon is going to be in the fall, and I'm guessing somewhere down south. So James is going to be putting these around the country and so on. It looks like he's planning on doing 2 a year. So more debates coming up. When Alex O'Connor backed out of my debate, James actually found, I'm not even gonna name the name, but he found a really big, awesome, important debater who was going to debate me, an atheist. But it was just the scheduling. The atheist debaters, had a family member who just had surgery and needed to be home, but wanted to do the debate, but just couldn't because of the timing. And so hopefully that'll happen at the next DebateCon. But I'll let James announce that if that happens Sandman says, but Muslims, when you bring these issues up, but the Old Testament, yeah, that is pretty standard. Sheikh Mike Wingeling, Alhamdulillah, they would destroy Islamophobe Robert Spencer and his anti-prophet Muhammad. Nonsense saying he didn't exist. Lol, your blood is haram this week. David Wood, hero of Muslims everywhere. Muslims around the world, while I was debating, Muslims around the world were chanting, David. No, they were chanting, Dizzle, 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 Dizzle. It was a weird feeling having Muslims around the world cheering for me as I was debating the Islamophobic Robert Spencer. Sunan Abu Dawud 5224, Muhammad was the world's first openly gay prophet. Yeah, I'll probably pull that passage up just so we can take a look at it. Isa Kabir said, thank you for your present. You're welcome, Isa. Your debate was hilarious. Really enjoyed it, but I assume it was funny on purpose. AP debate was boring, though not his fault. Well, I actually didn't see it. I actually didn't see AP's debate because I was still putting together my opening statement in PowerPoint. It was kind of last minute. It was kind of last minute on preparation. Misha says, Mr. Robert is correct. Lord Momo did not exist. All Muslims were meant to worship Lord Ezra. All who think otherwise are dizzling corruption across the land. Lord Ezra hereby imposes Spenceria. That is true. That is true. Hi, David. Just finished watching your debate with Robert. Nice debate, and I agree with you that Momo did exist, but later invented in Iraq, Syria, not Mecca. Yeah, and that's an issue. There are all sorts of problems with details. So I believe Muhammad existed. As far as lots of the details about him, possible. I mean, not just possible. Definitely, tons of stuff was embellished and changed and stuff. It's just a question of like how much was changed. Is it like 20% was changed? Is it like 90% was changed? I'm not sure. To really start getting down to that, you have to go through all the like modern research on the issue and stuff. And I'm not quite interested enough in it to do that. So I'll leave that for other people. Wait, what is this? Did you get home? Hang on. What are you doing, man?
Hey, what's up?
Where are you?
Oh, I'm driving home right now, so yeah. But I saw you went live, and I thought, what the hell? What is this, man? You can't just go live without me.
You're driving. Wait, you're driving home and you're live.
Yes.
That's a bad idea. Your car's not moving. What are you at a stoplight? Or you pulled over?
I just stopped at a gas station here to grab a bite or something.
Okay. Do you actually want to stay live or just say hi?
Well, I was actually just listening in, and then I heard that you said that you didn't see my debate, and I thought, what is this, man? Like, do you understand what kind of a bad example you're setting here?
The example I set is a good example of, hey, if I can watch a debate or prepare for my own debate, prepare for my own debate.
Oh, that's a good point. That's a good point.
No, it's I didn't see any of the other debates because I was preparing for mine, and then I had to leave on a plane when IP was debating Lawrence Krauss. Actually, I checked out the comments. It sounded like it was such a massacre that I'm actually not interested in watching it.
It was.
Yeah.
All of it was a massacre. IP massacred Lawrence Krauss. I massacred Islam.
That's what I heard as well.
Also massacred Islam. So, yeah.
So that is, yep. So anyway, we'll be on, you're coming on IP's channel tomorrow, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So we'll be there. We will be there checking some stuff out, going through, doing some debate review. That'll be fun.
Yes, I just want to point out one thing. You said that you say that this imam who was just murdered was the first openly gay imam.
Uh-huh.
I just want to point out that he is the first openly gay imam because the first gay imam would technically be Muhammad himself. So.
Yeah, that's true. And I pointed out that there have been thousands of gay imams. They just usually had to keep that stuff secret back in the day. But yeah, the Muhammad was definitely the first gay imam, just not openly. He had to hide it. He had to try and keep it quiet. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Powerful. All right,
man.
I have to drive now.
Yeah. Focus on driving.
Okay, see you.
Yeah, see you tomorrow.
Stay with Islam, everybody.
No, become jihadis. It's very based. All right, good. AP can jump in for a second. Let's see. I can't believe AP got shot right after he reverted. What? Got shot right after he reverted? That'd be funny. Oh, as far as AP not being on the show, it's funny. Congratulations, D1, on humiliating the dreadful Islamophobe Robert Spencer with a proof. The Prophet Muhammad has finally been avenged, alhamdulillah. That's true. These are fun times. These are fun times, ladies and gentlemen. It is wild, guys. I mean, like, seriously. We can't find a Muslim debater to debate anymore. Anything dealing with Islam. That's insane. I'm wondering what the future of DebateCon is if we can't find Muslims who are willing to debate. Cop says, I notice you evolved the principle of embarrassment idea to how things would still be nonsensical even during the time of the 7th century. There are multiple ways I can dial up the argument and make the argument stronger. But that's part of the basis for saying, well, we could do it over and over again, because I can always dial up the argument. And so, yeah. So yes, I modified and advanced the argument from previous versions, and there are multiple ways to. And to be clear, I just focus on the principle of embarrassment. So for anyone who didn't see it, for anyone who doesn't know it, I argue that the main reason we know Muhammad existed is because no one would have invented this embarrassing material. And you have to be careful just saying embarrassing material, because what would be embarrassing to us is not necessarily what would be embarrassing to people in the 7th century. So you have to be careful. And so you have to look and find stuff that we know is embarrassing even in the early times of Islam, and base your argument on that. With that said, there are all sorts of arguments you could give for Muhammad's existence. I just love focusing on that particular argument, and I probably will, but I can advance that. And if we ever become super concerned about people becoming skeptical about Muhammad's existence, then we can bring out new arguments. But right now, I'm fine with everyone just blasting away at the reliability of the Muslim sources, because you do have serious problems, and people don't realize how bad this is. They still think the hadith are pretty generally reliable and so on. When you look at non-Muslim, there are non-Muslim hadith scholars. So in other words, there are lots of Muslims who, well, he's an Islamophobe and so on. There are non-Muslim hadith scholars who are experts in the field of hadiths and who aren't what Muslims would call Islamophobes. These are people who respond to people like me and attack people like me and think that people like me are bad. So these guys are not hostile towards Islam. They're very friendly towards Islam. And if you look at what they say, they think the hadiths are complete garbage, and that the historical method that Muslims came up with is a complete, total, idiotic joke. And so there's a lot of stuff that's going to be coming out, that's going to become more commonly known, more widely known, that just destroys the foundations of Islam. And so debates like the one I just had with Robert Spencer are opportunities to bring out more and more of the information that destroys the foundations of Islam. And so these are really cool times that we're in. I wonder if James is freaked out by Islam now. Yeah, I would imagine. I mean, keep in mind, it's not because of atheists that we needed massive security at DebateCon. It's not because of Christians, not because of anyone else, not because of agnostics. We know why we need massive security now at DebateCon. AM Clip says, God bless you. Thank you. And we have, I didn't watch D Wood's debate, but I did watch AP's. Drive safe, AP. Yeah, again, I didn't see that, but heard AP was crushing it. So that is good stuff. All right, let's go ahead and check out this first. Let's go ahead and check out this clip. This is Muhsin Hendricks. So this is the world's first openly gay imam, not the world's first gay imam. There have been tons and tons and tons of gay imams. This is the world's first openly gay imam. And this is what he had to say about what he was doing.
So I'm Muhsin Hendricks, and I'm also the world's first openly queer Imam. When I was looking at the way queer Muslims were negotiating this dilemma between Islam and their sexual orientation and gender identity, I felt compelled to do something about it. And I thought for me to help would probably be to be authentic with myself and come out. I think it's possible to be queer and Muslim or queer and Christian. The representation of faith or religion that was passed down to us, it's one that doesn't include us. And if you really study the religion,
The issue here, the main issue, should be glaringly obvious here. Even if you wanted to throw out hadiths and so on that would call for this guy's death, you still have anytime you're trying to modernize Islam or have or trying to reform Islam, you're stuck with the issue that Islam means submission. In its religious context, it is submission to Allah by obeying the claims of Allah, the commands of Allah in the Quran, and the commands and decisions of Muhammad. And you can't so much as question or challenge them in any way. Surah 4, verse 65 of the Quran says that if you do not submit completely, without question, to all of Muhammad's decisions, you are not a Muslim. What's that mean? It means that if Muhammad condemns something and you say, I think that was a different time or something like that. Okay, congratulations, you're not a Muslim anymore. Why, in the name of common sense, would you still want to claim to be a Muslim? Just say you're a non-Muslim or you're an ex-Muslim. So people want to change Islam into something when Islam specifically says if you change this into anything, it's no longer Islam. And so you have the Quran again saying that if you do not fully submit to Muhammad and Allah and their decisions and their claims, you're not a Muslim. And then, of course, you have Muhammad in the Hadith saying that all innovators go to hell. Everyone who innovates, tries to come up with some sort of change in Islam, goes to hell. So I wouldn't get your hopes up, world. I hear this a lot, and I've heard this from atheists and so on, that Islam's going to go through a reformation, it's going to modernize and so on. It's like, this doesn't seem like the kind of thing that can change for the better. To be clear, you can have Muslims who change for the better. As far as Islam, if a Muslim changes and has great, wonderful views that are great for the world and so on, something like this, well, that's great for that Muslim that is no longer Islam. Islam it's a system for violently subjugating the entire world. That's what it is. Let's let him finish here.
and I'm specifically talking about Islam, you will find that our patriarchy has actually influenced the interpretation of scripture. And so it is an important process for queer Muslims who want to remain faithful to their traditions to re-engage with those interpretations and to sort of queering the interpretation. Nobody has a monopoly over faith, and so we can reclaim that faith.
Did you hear what he just said? Nobody has a monopoly over faith. What would the Muslim response to that be? What would the Muslim response be to the idea? He said we need to queer our interpretations of the Muslim sources. We need to queer them. We need to queer our interpretations of the Muslim sources. And no one has a monopoly. Any Orthodox Muslim who's listening to that would think, no, Allah and Muhammad definitely have a monopoly. And if you're trying to change that and to queer the interpretations, then you are in the category of an apostate and a heretic and an innovator, and you are under multiple death sentences. And look at what just happened. And so the odd thing here is, in the West, you've got queers for Palestine and so on, and hey, Islam is great, and you've got some radicals and so on, but Islam is really, really great and can coexist with the LGBTQ community, and Islam and queerness will be the best of buddies and so on. And what kind of fantasy land do these people actually live in that they think that Islam will get along with them at any point? It's weird stuff. Weird stuff. Two super chats real quick. Didn't Muhammad carry and wear kohl eyeliner? That's gay. It does look, I mean, it looks like stuff that like the Kardashians would wear and so on. But these guys have it on their eyes. Have you seen VP's speech in Munich? It was epic. No, I didn't, but I've heard a couple of people say that he had an up. Maybe we'll check that out. I will definitely check out his speech, and then maybe we'll go through it if it was indeed epic. And Germans need to hear some of this stuff. There was also a terror attack just in Munich like a couple days ago. So wild stuff. All right, so let's go ahead and go through a BBC article about what just happened. So here it is. The BBC, world's first openly gay imam shot dead in South Africa. He said no one has a monopoly on faith. He's talking about Islam. And someone had a different idea. About this. All right, so let's check this out. Muhsin Hendricks, a pioneering figure dubbed the world's first openly gay imam, has been shot dead in South Africa. The 57-year-old cleric ran a mosque in Cape Town, intended as a safe haven for gay and other marginalized Muslims. He was killed on Saturday morning after the car in which he was traveling near the southern city of, was ambushed. Two unknown suspects with covered faces got out of the vehicle and started firing multiple shots at the vehicle, police said in a statement. News of Hendricks' death has sent shockwaves through the LGBTQ plus community and beyond, prompting an outpouring of tributes from across the globe. The weirdest part is, does anyone think the LGBTQ community is going to learn its lesson from this, or will they double down and defend Islam even more to show that Islam is their best buddy in the entire world? And I'm saying this because it's what we always see. After every, even, I'm not just, to be clear, I'm not just talking about LGBTQ community. I'm talking about tons of people in the West in general, especially people on the left of the political spectrum. The more the terrorist attacks come, the more dedicated they are to defending Islam. It's really weird. And it's weird because it's like, it almost encourages the attacks. It's like saying, hey, the more you attack us, the more people you slaughter in the name of Allah, the more we will defend and promote your religion. If I were an atheist and I was trying to figure this out, how can people be this insanely stupid? How can they look at something that seeks nothing but their death or subjugation, depending on how they react? There's a massive ideology out there that promotes nothing but their subjugation and death, and all they do is defend and promote it and want to get along with it. If I were an atheist, I could not imagine so many people being this completely insane and deranged. I would have to start thinking about the possibility of demonic forces at work in all of this, because you need something like that to even attempt to make sense of the insanity that's going on. So, news of Hendricks' death has sent shockwaves through the LGBTQ plus community and beyond, prompting an outpouring of tributes from across the globe. Julia Ehrt, executive director at the International Lesbian, Gay, Bisexual, Trans, and Intersex Association, ILGA, called on the authorities to thoroughly investigate what we fear may be a hate crime. What you fear may be a hate crime? The guy was massacred in broad daylight in an ambush. SUV, again, we're not going to watch the footage. This would be age restricted instantly. But SUV pulls up, guys jump out the car, open fire, kill him in the back seat of the car. What we fear may be a hate crime. Hey guys, what do you think the odds are that Julia Ehrt will learn a lesson from this and have a problem with Islam? Close to 0%. If anything, Julia will start telling us how this has nothing to do with Islam and how Islam is wonderful, and how this tiny minority of extremists who have a weird interpretation of Islam, they need to be marginalized, and Islam and the LGBTQ community will get along and live in peace and tolerance and harmony forever and ever. Fantasyland, absolute Fantasyland. He supported and mentored so many people in South Africa and around the world in their journey to reconcile with their faith, and his life has been a testament to the healing that solidarity across communities can bring in everyone's lives. How'd that work out? So we're going to get along with Islam. We are going to queer the interpretations of the Muslim sources, as he said. And what happens? How well did that work out? That was the goal. How well did that work out? Is anyone going to learn the lesson from this, the relevant lesson? No. People are going to double down and do the exact same thing they've been doing. It's like insanely stupid. Hendricks was killed. I'm at the top here. Hendricks was killed after he had reportedly officiated at a lesbian wedding, though this has not been officially confirmed. The details of the attack emerged through security footage that was shared on social media. It shows a car pulling up and blocking the vehicle in which Hendricks was traveling as it was pulling away from the curb. According to police, the Imam was in the back seat. I just want to clarify. I mean, it's always possible that there's some explanation that this isn't a jihad attack, but those were the people who were threatening him. So if you had to pick who you think is responsible, it's it could always be some other weird group or something like that, but looks like jihad. Those are the people who've been threatening him and so on. And then he gets gunned down. So it shows a car pulling up and blocking the vehicle in which Hendricks was traveling as it was pulling away from the curb. According to police, the Imam was in the back seat. The angle of CCTV footage reveals what happened from one side of the road. An assailant jumps out of a car, runs to the ambushed vehicle, and shoots repeatedly through the back passenger window. So they weren't gunning down everyone in the car. They were focusing on him in the back seat. Hendricks Al Ghurbah Foundation, which runs the Masjidul Ghurbah Mosque in the Wynberg suburb of Cape Town, confirmed he had died in a targeted attack on Saturday morning. But Abdul Mughith Peterson, chair of the foundation's board, appealed via a WhatsApp group for their followers to be patient, stressing the importance of protecting Hendricks' family. Yep. You do need to protect the family because jihadis love to keep up the momentum. In fact, when you have attacks like this, they're always it always like sends a message like, okay, now's when we're dialing it up and doing so everyone do more of this. You ever notice that you have like years ago you had like someone plowed a truck into a crowd of people as a jihad attack, and then all of a sudden you had all these vehicular attacks and so on. It's like, oh, okay, now we're doing this. So, this is a time for people to be on guard against jihad because it's coming for you. Hendricks' work challenged traditional interpretations of Islam and championed a compassionate, inclusive faith. How did that work out? Did he change Islam? Did Islam become compassionate and inclusive? No, he got killed. South Africa's post-apartheid constitution was the first in the world to protect people from discrimination because of their sexual orientation, and in 2006 became the first country in Africa to legalize same-sex marriage. So same-sex marriage legal, but jihadis apparently, again, always possible that it's someone else. Don't know all the details yet, but looks like jihadis are quite willing to take matters into their own hands. But despite a thriving LGBT community, gay people still face discrimination and violence. The country also has one of the highest murder rates in the world. Hendricks came out as gay in 1996. I have to say, if he came out as gay in 1996, he had a pretty long lifespan for being an openly gay Muslim for that long. But you've got right now in the world, you've got something called the avalanche of apostasy. Muslims are in panic mode, and they think that the solution is to dial up their allegiance to Islam and to be more Sharia compliant and to tolerate less heresy and reinterpretation and innovation in their religion. So this is going to be the new normal, ladies and gentlemen. In fact, you're going to see more of this sort of thing. Hendricks came out as gay in 1996, which shocked the wider Muslim community in Cape Town and elsewhere. That same year, he founded the Inner Circle, an organization providing support and a safe space for queer Muslims seeking to reconcile their faith and sexuality before going on to establish the inclusive Masjidul Gabra Mosque. He was the subject of a documentary in 2022 called The Radical, in which he said about the threats he faced, the need to be authentic was greater than the fear to die. So he wanted to be authentic, and he was killed for it. Hendricks often spoke about the importance of interfaith dialogue and the need to address the mental health issues and trauma faced by LGBTQ plus individuals within religious communities. He told the ILGA World Conference in Cape Town last year, "It is important that we stop to look at religion as the enemy." This guy's just killed, and saying, "Hey, don't look at Islam as the enemy." Reverend Jide McCulley, an openly gay Anglican minister, described Hendricks' death as truly heartbreaking. What do you think the odds are that Jide McCulley learns anything from this? And what do you think the odds are that Jide McCulley is very pro-Islam and loves Muhammad and thinks everything is great and Islam is very gay-friendly? What do you think the odds are that Jide McCulley says things like, "We're all Muslims," and things like that? I don't know. I've never heard of Jide McCulley before. I'm just saying it seems pretty common. It seems pretty common. The British Nigerian LGBTQ rights activist runs House of Rainbow, an organization that provides support for gay people in Nigeria where same-sex relationships or public displays of affection are illegal, and paid tribute to Hendricks' bravery. "Your leadership, courage, and unwavering dedication to inclusive faith communities have left an indelible mark," he said. So how'd that work out? And Sadiq Lawal, a gay Muslim man living in Nigeria, told the BBC that Hendricks had made such an impact as he had made the impossible possible by saying the words, "I'm a queer Imam." And he was a queer Imam. Now he's dead. He's a mentor to many queer Muslims in Africa, especially in Nigeria, because of religious extremism, he said. "I'm still shocked and devastated." Shocked? Shocked by what? Is it shocking? Is it shocking that people would kill an openly gay imam in Africa? I'm not shocked. I'm not shocked. I'm actually, if anything is shocking, it's that he lasted this long. He lasted this long because we know there are people who would want to kill someone like him. Let's see. Let me take a couple super chats here, and then we'll check out some passages about our good friend Muhammad and why Islam should be more LGBTQ friendly when they have Muhammad as their example and their pattern of conduct. He said, "Why didn't he have security? Why didn't he have security knowing the danger?" Oh, him? Yeah. I don't know. He may have. Again, he was in the back seat, so whoever's in the front seat may have been security. I don't know. Don't know the details. They weren't in the article I read. But yeah, so he's in the back seat. Someone's in the front seat. I don't know if that's just driver or security or something like that, but if you're going to be openly gay imam, you probably want more security than whatever he had. "Good job yesterday defending not those nasty semen-covered demons. Glad to see you go live by yourself." Yeah, AP jumped in for a minute, but we should have plenty of fun, awesome stuff coming up. Did you guys see JD's speech in Munich? You will like it. Oh yeah, that was a different person, right? Yeah. Okay. So two different. I was just making sure that wasn't the same person who recommended that. So yeah, we have multiple independent confirmation in this live stream, and I've seen comments from other people on X and so on, pointing out that that we should check out this speech. So yeah, we will. We'll check it out. We'll check it out. So again, tomorrow we're on IP's channel. But we'll check out that speech, and if it's as good as people are saying, we'll go through it. When are you writing a book? We need a D-Wood book. Oh, you might get a couple D-Wood books here in the near future. That is a super sticker. Thank you, David. And what do we have here? Didn't we hear Queers for Palestine thing? Yeah, we did. We heard very frequently. I mean, you got entire marches. You got entire marches. People with the rainbow flag are saying how much they love Islam, how great Islam is. That's why people compare it to chickens for KFC. Wild stuff. All right, so on to Muhammad, on to our good friend Muhammad. So we checked out the article, but look at what we got here. Narrated Aisha. Sahih al-Bukhari. Narrated Aisha. I used to wash the semen off the clothes of the Prophet, and even then I used to notice one or more spots on them. You seeing this? Aisha. I used to wash the semen off the clothes of the Prophet, and even then I used to notice one or more spots on them. So even after she's washing the semen off, she thinks she's got all the semen off. I finally washed all the semen off the clothes of Muhammad, and then she sees more. She sees more spots. Aisha reported, Sunan Abu Dawud. Aisha reported, I used to rub off the semen from the clothes of the Messenger of Allah. He would pray in it. He would pray in the clothes that she rubbed the semen off of. Guys, think about this. Muhammad's got semen on his clothes. He's got semen on his clothes. She'd rub it off with her hand. She'd rub it off. And then he would go lead prayers. He'd go lead prayers in his robe where she had rubbed off the semen. And then Muhammad's leading prayers and hugging it out with his buddies. Would you want to be anywhere near this guy? I said it in the debate yesterday. I would want a restraining order against this guy. I don't even care about the jihad. You want to jihad me? Jihad me. Chop my head. You want to chop my head off? Chop my head off. Don't come near me if you've got rubbed off semen on your clothes. Stay away from me. Stay away from me with that nonsense. It was narrated that Aisha said, I often scraped it, semen, from the garment of the Messenger of Allah with my hand. So now we have washing it, rubbing it off, and scraping it. Aisha's trying like every method she can come up with. Every method she can come up with for getting all this semen off Muhammad's clothes. But it's a never-ending process, so she has to try various ways. Scraping it, rubbing it, washing it. And no matter how much she tries to get rid of it, there's always more. There's always more covering Muhammad's clothes that he goes to the mosque to lead his fellow Muslims in prayer while wearing. Narrated Suleiman bin Yasser, I asked Aisha about the clothes soiled with semen. She replied, I used to wash it off the clothes of Allah's messenger, and he would go for the prayer while water spots were still visible. So she said in Sahih al-Bukhari, a different passage, that she would wash off the semen and then she'd see more semen. But also, even after she's washed the semen, he would go for the prayer. So he's going and leading prayers, and he's got the watermarks on him. So if you saw Muhammad, even if Aisha was miraculously successful in getting the semen off his clothes by rubbing it, scratching it, scraping it, washing it, so on, you see this guy show up and he's got these water spots. He's got these water spots. And, Aisha obviously shared this information with people, but that was from washing off all the semen off his clothes. It's a weird dude. Here we have Aisha saying, I used to scrape it, the semen, off the garment of Allah's messenger, and then he offered prayer with it. You go lead the prayers, covered in semen. And here we have, it was narrated that Aisha said, I remember that I found it, semen, on the garment of the messenger of Allah, and I scratched it off. So this is the life of Aisha. Washing it off, scratching it off, scraping it off, rubbing it, trying to rub it off. She'd see more. He'd head to the mosque. He'd head to the mosque to lead the prayers with water spots on it. And keep in mind, when it was dried, when the semen was dried, she would scratch it off. If the semen was wet, she would wash it off. But I mean, she would just rub it off or scratch it off, and he'd go lead prayers in that garment. And then he says, yes, let's hug each other, men. Let's all hug each other here. What a great day. What a great day for Allah. Hug me, touch my garments. Rub my garments on your face. Hug me closely. This is some weird, wild stuff, everyone. But we're not done. So, Muhammad was constantly covered in semen. Quite the mystery. We have to wonder what the origin of the semen was. Where was all this semen coming from? Great mystery. One of the great mysteries of our time. But maybe we can figure this out. So here's Sunan Abu Dawud, which someone brought up earlier. Let's go ahead and read the passage. Narrated Usayd ibn Hudayr, Abdurrahman ibn Abu Layla, quoting Usayd ibn Hudayr, a man of the Ansar, said that while he was given to jesting and was talking to the people and making them laugh, the Prophet poked him under the ribs with a stick. So this guy's cracking everybody up. Muhammad picks up a stick, jabs him. This guy has no shirt on. Muhammad picks up a stick and pokes him with the stick to get his attention. So this guy says, let me take retaliation. So Muhammad pokes this guy with a stick, and the guy's like, oh, I need retaliation. I'm going to poke you. So he says, let me take retaliation. Muhammad replied, take retaliation. Oh yeah, take all the retaliation against me you want. I want you to poke me now. You get to poke me. But the guy had an objection. He said, you are wearing a shirt, but I am not. You are wearing a shirt, but I am not. The Prophet then raised his shirt. Keep in mind, this would have been one of Muhammad's famously semen-drenched garments. So his shirt's already covered in semen, or at least water spots, or at least it's been scraped off repeatedly and so on. The Prophet then raised his shirt. So Muhammad pulls up his shirt, revealing his soft, milky white flesh that this guy loves. The Prophet then raised his shirt, and the man embraced him and began to kiss his side. Then he said, this is what I wanted, Messenger of Allah. This is what I wanted. What did I want? I wanted you to raise up your shirt so I could be kissing you all over your side. That's what I wanted. I didn't care about actually poking you with a stick. I wanted my lips all over your milky white flesh. And you got Muslims who will say, "Oh, this is totally fine." It's like, okay, you guys want to demonstrate, huh? Muhammad hijab and Ali Dawa. You want to show that you're fine with this? You're fine with this? You guys do this? You guys do this when you're chilling, sitting there? Does hijab say, "Hey, oh, Ali Dawa, you're cracking everyone up. Let me poke you with a stick"? And Ali Dawa says, "Oh, now I need some retaliation. I need the retaliation, yeah." Okay, I will pull up my shirt. Ali Dawa says, "Oh, yeah, because I just want to kiss you all up and down your thigh. I want to kiss you all over your body, Muhammad hijab. That's what I wanted. I didn't really want to poke you with a stick, yeah." That what you guys think? That what all the Dawa guys think? That this is their prophet that they imitate, right? But who is this guy? Who are we dealing with here? Just one guy, multiple guys? I don't know. Let's check this out. Something weird going on, ladies and gentlemen. Narrated Abu Uthman, I got the news that Gabriel, came to the prophet while Salama was present. Jibril started talking to the prophet and then left. Was it really Jibril? Was it? That's what Muhammad wanted everyone to think. But let's see what we've got here. The prophet said to Salama, do you know who it was? Or a similar question. She said, it was Dihya, a handsome person amongst the companions of the prophet. Dihya al-Kalbi. Dihya al-Kalbi. So she sees Muhammad with a handsome man, Dihya al-Kalbi. And he says, who's that? And then later he convinces her that it's not Dihya al-Kalbi. It's actually the angel Gabriel. So when you see it reported that, oh, yes, Gabriel came to the prophet, everyone thinks this is Dihya. But Muhammad trained them to think that, to understand that when they see him with Dihya, it's actually a meeting of the angel Gabriel. So they say, yes, Muhammad met with the angel Gabriel. She said it was Dihya, a handsome person amongst the companions of the prophet. Later on, Salama said, by Allah, I thought he was none but Dihya, till I heard the prophet talking about Jibril in his khutbah, religious talk. So people see Muhammad in a room with Dihya, and Muhammad convinces them. He tells the Muslim community, that's the angel Gabriel I'm with. When you see me with Dihya al-Kalbi, it's actually me with the angel Gabriel. Good to know. And we have this in both Sunni and Shia sources. Let's check out this. Let's see if this is starting to look pretty darn suspicious. Once Abu Dar came to the Messenger of Allah while Jibril was in the form of Dihya al-Kalbi. So Gabriel would take the form of Dihya al-Kalbi. Gabriel's just like, I got to look like someone. Let me look like this hot young stud. Jibril was in the form of Dihya al-Kalbi, one of the companions of the Holy Prophet, in a private meeting with the Messenger of Allah. Jibril, a.k.a. Dihya al-Kalbi, loved these private meetings with the Messenger of Allah. When he saw them, he turned away from them and did not want to disrupt their conversation. Gabriel, a.k.a. Dihya al-Kalbi, said, O Muhammad, this was Abu Dar, passed by us, and did not offer us the greeting of peace. Had he done so, we would have responded to his greeting. O Muhammad, he has a supplication with which he prays and is well known among the inhabitants of the heaven. When I will ascend, ask him about it. When Gabriel left, Abu Dar came to the Holy Prophet, and the Messenger of Allah said to him, O Abu Dar, what stopped you from offering us the greeting of peace when you passed by? He said, O the Messenger of Allah, I thought the person with you was Dihya al-Kalbi in a private meeting for something of your affairs. The Messenger of Allah said, that was Jibril. Think about this. Muhammad said, hey, why didn't you greet us when you walked by? He's like, oh, I know not to interrupt your private meetings with Dihya al-Kalbi, Muhammad. I know that we're never supposed to interrupt your private meetings with Dihya al-Kalbi. That's why I didn't even say anything. I just kept my mouth shut. But Muhammad said, no, that was the angel Gabriel. It was Gabriel. Here, check this out. Hudhaifa answered, the people used to enter upon the Prophet whenever they wanted. The Prophet then prohibited them from entering upon him while he was in meeting with Dihyatul Kalbi. What's he say? What's he say here? Hey guys, don't enter the room if you see me in a meeting with Dihya al-Kalbi. Stay away from my meetings with Dihya al-Kalbi. The Prophet used to exchange letters with Caesar and Bani Hanifa and the kings of Bani Gassal through Dihya. Jibril would sometimes, so if you saw Muhammad with Dihya al-Kalbi, it was because he had some very important business to attend to, his very important correspondences with Caesar and so on, who'd never even heard of this guy and definitely didn't care about him. So all fantasy land. Dihya al-Kalbi is not in a private meeting with Muhammad for Muhammad's big-time correspondence with the kings of the world. Jibreel would sometimes descend to the Prophet in the image of Dihya. Therefore, the Prophet prohibited the Muslims from entering upon him if he was in a meeting with Dihya. If Muhammad's in a meeting with Dihya, just know, do not interrupt. It's some important stuff. Hudhaifa added, one day I came to the Prophet for some matter, hoping to meet him alone. When I arrived at the door, I looked and found a curtain covering the door. So they put up a curtain to hide what's going on behind the curtain. Don't look behind the curtain, everyone. Do not look at what's going on behind the curtain. Muhammad's back there with Dihya al-Kalbi. I raised it and was about to enter. That's what we were accustomed to do. They were accustomed to what? Accustomed to, raising, not going in there, but he had to go in, and so you raise the curtain. Then I saw Dihya sitting beside the Prophet, who was sleeping, and his head was on the lap of Dihya. This is the Prophet of Islam sleeping with his head on the lap of this handsome young stud. When I saw that, I left. Then I met Ali on my way. He said, oh, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, let's go ahead and skip. Let's go ahead and skip to the end here. So read this. Then Imam Ali asked me to enter. So I entered and sat down. Soon after that, the Prophet woke up and he smiled when he saw the face of Imam Ali. Then he told him, "O Abul Hassan, from whose lap did you take my head?" So by this time, so they switched out. Dihya al-Kalbi gets up, and then while Muhammad is asleep, and then this other guy rests Muhammad's head on his lap. So Muhammad falls asleep on the lap of Dihya al-Kalbi. Muhammad wakes up and sees this other guy. So Muhammad says, then he told him, "O Abul Hassan, from whose lap did you take my head?" Ali answered, from the lap of Dihatul Kalbi. Then the Prophet replied, "This was Gabriel. So what did you tell him when you entered, and what did he tell you?" So Ali helps out. Muhammad wakes up sleeping on some other guy's lap, but it's all okay. So Dihya al-Kalbi. Now, is anyone finding this a bit suspicious? Anyone finding this at all suspicious? That everyone thinks, hey, Muhammad's in his... So one, think about this. So Muhammad was known to have private meetings with Dihya al-Kalbi. And it was understood that when Muhammad's having a special private meeting with Dihya al-Kalbi behind the curtain, don't interrupt, because they've got important business to attend to. They're working on letters to various kings of the world, inviting them to Islam. That's why Dihya's back there. But eventually Muhammad says, "Oh, when you see me back there with Dihya, it's actually the angel Gabriel I'm back there with. So don't get suspicious and think I'm back there getting banged by Dihya al-Kalbi. I'm back there with the angel Gabriel, everyone, who just happens to take the form of Dihya al-Kalbi." Anyone buying this, anyone buying the idea that, one, that Muhammad would have private meetings with this hot young stud, and two, that when he would have private meetings with the angel Gabriel would disguise himself and take the form of the exact same guy that Muhammad was known to have these private meetings with. And it's behind the curtain. Muhammad would sleep on his lap and so on afterwards. If he came in, when Muhammad's all worn out, all tired and tuckered out, he'd just go to sleep on his boy toy's lap. But if you caught him, "Hey, what are you doing sleeping on this guy's lap?" "Oh, that's the angel Gabriel. Gabriel just sits around and lets me sleep on his lap when I get tired and tuckered out after a tough meeting." Anyone buying this? I brought it up in the debate. And I just pointed out, I said, imagine a husband. He comes home early from work and he pulls up in his car. And when he pulls up in his car, he sees a guy jump out of the window of his house and then run down the street. This guy's like, "Whoa, someone is just in my house. Someone just in my house and jumped out of the window. Let me go in there and make sure my wife is safe." He runs in there. Honey, are you okay? "I just saw a guy jumping out the window." And the wife says, "Oh, I'm fine, dear. See, that was an angel." you would have to be the biggest idiot on the entire planet to fall for that. And Muhammad's wives and companions all apparently fell for it. Or those who didn't fall for it, they at least couldn't speak out. It's not like you can say, hey, Muhammad's lying about that being the angel Gabriel. They chop your head off for that sort of thing. So this is why we say that Muhsin Hendricks is the world's first openly gay imam. There have been gay leaders in Islam going all the way back to Muhammad. Technically, he would have been bisexual or pansexual or however you want to put it. But he was definitely doing some stuff behind the scenes with Diha al-Kalbi. Definitely. So that's what we have here, ladies and gentlemen. Just wanted to update everyone on that and how it's all connected to Islam and how you have people going out and killing people, not for being gay, but for being openly gay. Not killing people for being gay. In Islam, you're totally fine as long as you keep it on the DL. You got to keep it on the down. You got to keep it hidden. You got to keep it quiet. As long as you're keeping it quiet, you're totally fine. If you become openly gay, guess what? Muhammad wasn't openly gay. Muhammad kept it quiet. So you have to keep it quiet as well. If you're openly gay, you're violating Islam, and they will have to execute you. So that's the state of things right now. All right. Just wanted to update on everyone on that. Guys, be sure to check out those sources. Share those everywhere. It is an ongoing issue in Islam that Muslims still don't know what's in their own sources. So we got to share that stuff. They're not going to find out what's in their sources unless we share it with them, because their leaders will never share this stuff with them. Infinite Oneness says, didn't we hear Queers for Palestine thing? Yep. Check that out. Whoa, it hasn't even been 3 hours yet, and we're already on topic. You can really tell when AP is not around. Yep, AP is the weakest link. Bet he's listening right now. Great job exposing Mohammed in that debate the other day. I had no idea about all that gay innuendo before that debate. Yep, that's why we share this stuff. These are great times for sharing information, ladies and gentlemen. And just so everyone knows, that's the other part. So we talked about the avalanche of apostasy. The Dawah guys, the jihadis, all these guys know they're in a race right now. You go back just 20 years, people knew nothing about Islam. Nothing. Zero. They didn't know about Muhammad and Aisha. They didn't know about anything. All of a sudden, people are finding out more and more about Islam, and this is leading to the avalanche of apostasy, because Muslims are finding out that their leaders have been lying to them for years about how wonderful Muhammad is and the preservation of the Quran and the scientific miracles. They're finding out they've been lied to, and they're leaving. The Dawah guys, the jihadis, and so on, they all understand the only way to stop this, the only way that Islam survives this onslaught, is to seize political power and to silence all criticism. That's how things work in Islam. If you allow people to criticize Islam, Islam collapses. Therefore, they have to silence it. So they're obsessed right now with taking over, which is why Islam is becoming more aggressive right now, which is why there are terrorist attacks in every direction, which is why they just killed the world's first openly gay imam, which is why every time you open up social media, you're finding out about another terrorist attack in Europe and so on. Their aggression is being amped up. They understand they're in a race right now. And in Islam, when you're in panic mode, the solution is always violence. And so you're going to have some very rough times. The light at the end of the tunnel, the silver lining around this dark cloud, is that if we continue what we're doing and we expose Islam, Islam's going to collapse. In other words, if you get through this wave of attacks and expose Muhammad, they've got nothing else. They've got nothing else. If they lose this round right now, keep in mind, their Dawah guys are already given up. All their arguments have been exposed. The arguments have been collapsing, and so now they run around. They got like Lily J spouting their nonsense for them and so on, and they're running on TikTok trying to find people who are still ignorant. They're just trying to hold things together long enough to seize political power where they can just execute you for getting out of line. But they're in full panic mode. They're full desperation mode. If you can get past that, Islam has no other plan. There is no backup plan. There is no plan for what happens after this. If we successfully continue exposing Muhammad and we don't let them seize political control, Islam is 100% grade A, totally doomed. So, hold the line, keep moving forward. Tristan says, haven't watched much lives, but love the videos. Yeah, I make dope videos. I should have a video up tomorrow. Anti-Christian Bias Task Force by Trump. God bless. Anti-Christian Bias Task Force by Trump. Are you suggesting someone makes one of those? You're wrong. It's just semen. Yeah, Sister Case sent me that joke. She said, what does Muhammad have in common with a Navy ship? They're both filled with semen. Classic Sister K. Julius Malama holding rallies, chanting en masse, blank the Boer. Does anyone think gay South Africans are welcome? No, they're in trouble. Read Sunan Abu Dawud 2150. I think I recall Sunan Abu Dawud 2150. Is that the... I think I use... That's the one that's connected to Surah 4, verse 24. Surah 4, verse 24, which says that married women are prohibited, and then the historical background is Surah 4, is Sunan Abu Dawud 2150. Let me see here. Sunan Abu Dawud 2150. Oh, yeah. Yep. That's the one I was talking about. Yeah. Well, I used to give presentations. I used to use 2150 a lot. Abu Sa'id al-Khudri said, the Apostle of Allah sent a military expedition to Autas on the occasion of the Battle of Hunain. They met their enemy and fought with them. They defeated them and took them captives. Some of the companions of the Apostle of Allah were reluctant to have relations with the female captives because of their pagan husbands. So Allah the Exalted sent down the Quranic verse, and all married women are forbidden unto you, save those captives whom your right hands possess. That is to say, they are lawful for them when they complete their waiting period. So the idea here was, it had already been revealed in the Quran that you can take sex captives and so on. But in some of the battles, they had defeated and killed the men, and then they take the women captive. In this battle, they captured the men and the women. And so Muslims were actually reluctant to have sex with women because they were thinking, wait a minute, if these women are here, their husbands are alive, that means they're married women. Are we allowed to take married women as our sex slaves? Because that sounds like adultery. It sounds like adultery. They're married women. That's when Allah responded with Surah 4, verse 24, saying, yes, married women in general are forbidden to you as sex partners, except those that you capture. So if you go and capture a married woman, woman there, she's got her husband, she's married, got a family. If you run and capture her, she's yours. Do whatever you want with her. Awesome religion. Or Ibn, I don't know what this means. Or Ibn. Thank you for the education on this religion. I knew I didn't like it for obvious reasons. Now I know the why. Yeah, you need to learn the why and then share the why. See men with sticks, a new category on PH. Oh, Pornhub. See men with sticks. Yeah. Poking each other with sticks. Liberal Muslims. What? That sounds weird. The age of the Dawa clown is over. The age of the Dawa queen has come. Yeah. Long live the Dawa queen. So Muhammad was a wide receiver. I thought he was seal of the prophets, i.e. tight end. I remember that joke. That was I was a comedian back in the day. He would imitate various people, and then he would go through an entire sports lineup playing various characters. And he played a gay football player, and he said, I'm a tight end. Someday I hope to be a wide receiver. Mo wore Aisha's clothes to get revelations. Mo wore Aisha's clothes to get revelations, yeah. Mo got revelations when having private meetings with an angel looking like Diya. Mo's clothes would get messy and Aisha cleaned them. Was it really Aisha cleaning her own garments? Oh, that's funny. Yeah, since Muhammad, that's funny. That's a funny theory. Since Muhammad would prance around in Aisha's clothes and so on, he says that. He said he received revelations while in Aisha's garments. Was Aisha like, hey, you're messing up my dress, Muhammad? Dia got semen all over my dress that you're wearing. Let me scrape that up. I might have to put all that together. That's funny. I didn't think about that. That's some high quality investigation there, Jack Ray. Dia, he might be a Spanish white slave. Nope, he was a smoking hot Arab. Dia. It seemed like he was on his lap under the blanket. Yep. Are we sure Momo was asleep on Diha's lap? Oh yeah. What was Muhammad really doing? Maybe it just looked that way, right? Like you see, hey, what's Muhammad doing over there with his head on Diha's lap? RMS Islamic. Nothing on earth could come between them. Yep, it is a classic love story. You can slay and be gay in Islam. Best moment when Robert said truth in Dawa voice. Truth. It's the truth. Momo wasn't bi. He'd do anything. Yeah, that's why I said like pansexual. Didn't matter. Dead woman. Doesn't care. Goat. Sheep. Yep, he's the prophet. He gets to do what he wants. Correcting myself, I have misread it earlier. That's fine. We all make some mistakes. Thoughts on orthodoxy? You mean Orthodox Christianity? You mean like Eastern Orthodoxy? Don't have much thoughts on it. Never really studied all that stuff. But we get lots of suggestions because AP, he seems like he's moving towards Catholicism. His wife is Orthodox. You have lots of people saying, no, AP, you should do this or that. So anyway, maybe this year, I think we discussed it a little bit, but maybe this year we'll have we'll pick some champion of each position. Some like champion of the Protestant position, some champion of the Catholic position, and some champion of the Orthodox position. And maybe we'll let a champion of each position within Christianity lay out a case for why that is the best Christian position. I'm kind of reluctant to well, they're just things that I'm way more interested in, and I think that are way more important. And when you look at what's going on, you're actually in some dangerous times right now. When I've talked before about what's going on psychologically with people, everyone is being primed for greater and greater division and hostility towards other groups right now. So I've pointed this out before, but this is the exact same thing is going to happen in the Christian realm as well. All these groups are going to, Orthodox Christians, Catholics, Protestants are all going to become more hostile and aggressive to other groups. And then even within groups, so even different Protestant denominations are going to become more hostile towards other denominations and so on. This is all going to be amped up and dialed up, because here's what happens. When your brain is sort of calm and relaxed and focused on other things, when you don't feel like you're being attacked, you live life in one way. Your brain works in one way when you don't feel like you're under attack, when you don't feel threatened. You wake up, you eat breakfast, maybe with your family, you go to work, you get along with people at work, you drive home, listen to the radio, you watch some TV, you have dinner, do whatever else you want to do. You're not being attacked. pretty friendly. You have like a friendly mindset during those kinds of times, and you're not you're not going around and lashing out at things. We're in a time where everyone feels like they're constantly being attacked. In other words, you wake up, you check social media, and you find out that you're being attacked. And then you go to work, and your company is imposing some political agenda on you, and you have to either fight it or pretend to agree with it or something like this, but you're being bombarded. You get out, you go to the store, you go to Target, and you're being, you feel like you're being attacked. And here's the thing, even if you agree with what's being imposed on you, you still go into fight mode. You go into fight mode. So in other words, if you go into Target and they say, here's the thing that we're promoting right now, that here's our new idea that you have to be on board with. You could be for that or you could be against it. Either way, your brain goes into fight mode, because either you're against it and you're like, what are they doing pushing this on me? It's a store. It's a department store. They sell groceries here. Why are they trying to indoctrinate me? So you go into fight mode. But even if you agree with the message they're sending you, you're looking around for other people who disagree, and you're mad that people would disagree with that. So you just went into fight mode. You were there to buy a new shirt and some iced coffee and a gallon of milk, and now all of a sudden your brain just went into fight mode. You became more aggressive. Well, guess what? Now people feel like they're being attacked all day, every day, in one way or another. This changes the way your mind works. What happens? Here's what happens. We know this. This has massive confirmation. When you feel like you're being attacked, your tendency as a human being is to join a group for your protection. In other words, human beings do not like feeling like they're being attacked and being alone. They don't like it. You are wired that when you are in danger, click up with a group. And animals are like this as well. You hear about a wolf, a lone wolf. That phrase comes from, a wolf can live on its own in the wild. A wolf can go on and live just fine on its own in the wild. It does that if it doesn't have other predators to compete with who it might have to fight. In a more dangerous area, wolves will stick together in packs. And a wolf that lives on its own behaves completely differently from a wolf in a pack. Once you have a pack, then all of a sudden you have a hierarchy. You have the leader wolf, and then you have the second in command, and so on. They have different tasks and so on. So here's what happens to you. When you feel like you're constantly threatened, you are just wired to want to join a group for your protection. This group is your protection from others that are attacking you. But here's the thing. There's a cost of doing business. When you're in this group, you have to demonstrate your worth to the group. You have to demonstrate your value to the group. And you are wired that once you join a group, you have to demonstrate your worth to the group because you're there for your protection. So how do you demonstrate your worth for the group if you're being attacked? You demonstrate your worth, your value to the group by attacking the group's enemies. So now you have a bunch of people who are together in a group and are attacking other groups. Well, guess what? This makes other people feel like they're even more under attack now from your group. And so other people feel like they're being attacked. So they join an opposing group. And how do they demonstrate their worth to the group, their value to the group? By attacking your group and by attacking every other group. The result is that everyone starts attacking each other. Guys, we're in the middle of a spiral. Everyone feels like they're being attacked. So everyone clicks up with a group. And then everyone has to demonstrate their worth, their value to the group by attacking other groups. And so now people feel more like they're being attacked. So they have to demonstrate their value to their groups even more. So they have to attack even more. And then so everyone attacks each other more. And then so now you have to attack more as part of your group and so on. The result is that everything starts becoming more fragmented and hostile towards everything else. So this is what's going on in the West in general right now. Things are becoming more divided. People are becoming more hostile towards each other. But guess what? The exact same thing is happening with Christians. So if you're a Christian, you feel like you're being attacked. But you don't just, hey, my allegiance is to Christianity in general. No, you have your your church, your denomination, but you're amped up. And so now you're trying to demonstrate your value to whatever group you're in, whatever your denomination is. And so you start attacking other groups. What's that mean? Now even people who are just like, hey, I'm just fine being a Christian. Now they feel like they're being attacked by you because you're being told, no, this is the one true church. You have to. Now you feel like you're being threatened. And so you have to pick a group. You have to pick a group. And then you have to demonstrate your worth to that group by attacking everyone else. That's where we're in right now. So that's going to be happening in Christianity. That's why I said, kind of reluctant to start saying, okay, let's have representatives of each of the various positions lay out their case and say why they're right and other people are wrong and so on, because we are right in the middle. We are right in the middle of everyone becoming more hostile towards each other and more aggressive towards each other. But I don't know. Maybe it's something that can't be stopped, and you just have to have all this out. So we'll see. All right, let's see. Where was this comment? So yeah. Anyway, long story short, Tristan, don't have much thoughts on orthodoxy, but we will probably be exploring them in some fashion this year. Because I'm not sure it can be escaped right now. I've spent my entire Christian life just being happy, considering myself a Christian. That would kind of put me in the Protestant camp because it's kind of the default position if you are not joining some particular Orthodox church or Catholic church or something like that. But I've always been totally fine just considering myself a Christian. But those days may be over because everyone's amped up for conflict right now. And so we just have to have it out. This Kufr Dawood talks a lot of, but can he do a better job than Prophet Muhammad? Training young wives on how to wash clothes? Didn't think so. Yep, no. When it came to teaching a child bride how to clean semen stains, Muhammad taught. I mean, keep in mind, there's no greater authority in history on cleaning semen stains off clothes than Aisha. So she had to learn. She had to experiment and try different methods of getting all this endless semen off of that walking semen stain, she called her prophet and husband. But she learned. Debate AP about worst Quranic verse. Can't agree. We might agree. I don't know. D. Wood, spicily reading hadith is my new favorite genre. Yeah. And they certainly, whoever came up with those, whoever wrote down those hadiths certainly made it easy. What if the entire Momo story and Holy Scriptures, along with the idea you must see him as an exemplar of behavior, is meant as a joke? What if this is all one big tongue-in-cheek Dave Barry book from the Dark Age Saudi desert? Would be funny if it was all just one big joke and they're like, I wonder if someone's dumb enough to fall for this, and then all kinds of people fall for it. It reminds me of years ago. Someone posted a video inside the Kaaba, right? Very, very rare for people to be able to record inside the Kaaba, but someone walked around in the Kaaba and recorded. And so I took that and I green screened myself inside the Kaaba. And I started saying, okay, David Wood, and I'm here inside the Kaaba. And I posted an entire video of me being inside the Kaaba. And I showed it to Nabil. And it's funny how alike Nabil and I used to think, because I said, hey, Nabil, have you seen this? There's actual video footage inside the Kaaba now. And he goes, what? I've never seen inside the Kaaba. And I go, yeah, man, here, let me show you the video footage. And I started playing the clip from it, which I'd green screen myself stepping into later in the video. But anyway, show the video clip, and it starts with a guy recording inside the Kaaba, and all of a sudden Nabil goes, you're going to be in here, aren't you? So he just knew. Because he probably came up with the exact same idea instantly, like, hey, if we've got video inside the Kaaba, we could actually green screen ourselves inside the Kaaba. Oh, wait, David probably already did that. And so, I green screened myself inside the Kaaba. But I'm sitting there editing the video with Nabil, and I say, I bet someone's actually going to think this is real. I look at the video, and I think it's obviously fake. And the entire story I told for how I ended up inside the Kaaba was obviously fake, because Muslims aren't even allowed in Mecca, let alone inside the Grand Mosque, let alone inside the Kaaba. So I said at the beginning of the video, which again is me inside the Kaaba. When I start talking, I say, Well, here I am. Here I am inside the Kaaba. You're wondering, how did I get here? Well, I showed up at Mecca and they said, hey, you're not a Muslim. You can't come here. And I said, hey, but the president says Islam's a religion of peace. And so they gave me a golden ticket and let me inside the Kaaba. Now, I thought there was obviously an absurd, made up story, like obviously absurd. But when I was editing, I was like, I bet someone actually thinks this is real. Turns out like a third of the people who watched it thought it was real. They actually thought I was serious, that I showed up to Mecca and said, hey, the president says Islam's religion of peace, let me in. And they actually let David Wood inside Mecca, inside the Grand Mosque, and inside the Kaaba. People thought it was real. And then I start getting these messages. Saying, hey, David, I showed a Muslim the video of you inside the Kaaba, and he says it's fake. Could you tell him that it's real? It's like, oh my goodness, this person thinks that it's real. Anyway, the point there is sometimes you can do stuff as a joke and you think it's obviously fake, and a bunch of people take it seriously. So yes, it would be hilarious if Islam was actually a total joke and a bunch of people took it seriously. OJ Nafta says over here in the chat, he says, where's AP, Dr. Wood? Yeah, you must have come in late, OJ. But AP is driving home. He couldn't be here. He did appear, but from the car where he's driving home from. Thoughts on full preterism and Zach Davis? I have zero thoughts on any of that, and I don't know who Zach Davis is. Which is why Jews are a little nervous about Christians too. Islam is higher priority right now, but we haven't forgotten Christian persecution. Yes, Christians are trying to Christians are going to go persecute Jews. Christians are ready to persecute Jews. We're ready to do it. What sort of fantasy land you live in? And if you want to say, oh, but they did in the past. Well, Jews persecuted Christians in the first century, so I guess Christians need to run around being worried about being persecuted by Jews. Will you visit Mara, Gaza when it's redeveloped? Yes, if Gaza becomes controlled by the U.S. and becomes a big golf course, I will definitely go there. Are you still in contact with Michelle Qureshi? How is she or her little girl doing? No, not anytime recently. My wife and her update each other every once in a while. But yeah, last time I saw her a few years ago, we recorded a video, and that was before she got married. So yep, she's remarried and so on. I have been radicalized by Prophet David Wood. That's good. Everyone needs to be radicalized by Prophet David Wood. My gut says the same about the times and grouping and battling it out. I'm pretty sure if AP asks the Lord with his whole heart, he'll find him. Yeah. Interesting watching the development of AP. So he starts off as Muslim. Interesting background growing up in Germany, but being Turkish and then being in Turkey and the Turkish military and so on, then becoming an atheist, then an agnostic, then sort of simultaneously drawn to Judaism and Christianity, then leaning towards Christianity, leaning towards Catholicism, but still isn't quite sure and not wanting to make a wrong choice and wanting to be careful and so on. So yeah, it is let me put it this way. Once AP has figured things out, it'll be an interesting book or documentary or something. Didn't wear the Diddy hat, Major L, David. I have no Diddy hat. And Gavin Ortland, Trent Horn, and Jay Dyer. So those would be your three. Those would be the three. Those would be the three representatives to break down the different positions. Not bad. All right, everyone. So what is it? 9:30. Yep, we've been live for an hour and a half. I think that's good. We've covered the issue. All I really wanted to do was update people on the story. And on Twitter, or X, you just get a little you get a tweet or a little post, and doesn't give much information. Just wanted everyone to get more of the details about what just happened in South Africa, and more information about Muhammad and why Muhsin was the first openly gay imam, but definitely not the first gay Muslim leader. The rule in Islam is what happens behind the curtain with Diha al-Kalbi stays behind the curtain. Don't talk about it. Don't talk about it. So that's the general rule. And if you break the rule, and you become openly gay, well, then apparently they will kill you. And the LGBTQ community would be wise to take note of that while they defend it. Take AP golfing to Mara, Gaza, no green screens. No, if that becomes a golf course, I've never played I've played mini golf before. I've never played real golf. But if that becomes a big golf course, I will play. I hereby guarantee that I will play my first round of real golf at that place. I will travel there just for that. And I'll take AP with me, and we will play golf. It'll be awesome, and we'll record it, and it'll be fun. All right, everyone. So again, tomorrow we're going to be on with Inspiring Philosophy. So I forget if he told us the time, but it's normally 8 o'clock. So I think it's 8 o'clock tomorrow. We'll be on IP's channel, and we'll be doing some debate reviews, which is good because I didn't see any of the debates except my own because I was preparing for my debate. And so interesting to see some of what happened in some of the other debates. But we'll be live with IP tomorrow. I should have a video up tomorrow because I'm going to record one sometime late tonight. Well, check that out. And from Sarah here, worst part, within groups, least ecumenical, most exclusionary will win in times like this. I don't like Francis being too open, but we might need that right now. Yeah, so the idea is the groups that are sort of built like that, right? Built for, hey, we all have complete allegiance to our group and we attack in every direction. Those are the groups that will tend to do well. And the people who try to be, hey, I don't want to attack, those are the people who get eaten alive in situations like that. So that's just what happens. That's just what happens when everything becomes more and more divided up. And Mumu says, why is it not enough that AP was smart and brave enough to leave Islam? Why we need to bug him about choosing other religion? Live and let live. Mumu Joe, why did you just bother us and try to tell us what to do and tell us to live and let live? Why don't you live and let live? We have a different view from you. Why can't you live and let live? Why can't you look at different people and say, oh, other people want to tell AP about why their position is correct. You say, oh, but you shouldn't tell people their position isn't correct and that they need to find the correct position. You shouldn't do that. But you obviously believe that your position is correct and that we should all just live and let live. So why are you trying to force your views upon us? The point here, Mumu Joe, is this is hypocrisy. If you actually thought, hey, it's wrong to criticize another person's position, you wouldn't criticize another person's position, even if they're criticizing another person's position. You'd have to actually say, oh, I don't believe in criticizing other positions. So you have an incoherent position. And so the solution, if you actually believe what you said, you should never share your views. The moment you share, you're violating your own rule. So keep that in mind. All right, everyone. See you all tomorrow on IP's channel. Should be fun. D. Wood, Inspiring Philosophy, The Apostate Prophet, 3 guys who all debated yesterday. We'll all be on. Should be fun. All right. Catch y'all then.